Easily one of the best uses of an accordion since the Kenosha Kickers. Right? I mean, come on.
There you go. I like it.
You're on par with John Candy.
We're trying.
Right there.
This is Zach, by the way, everybody.
Now, Andrew, recording that record back in 2013, 2014,
Yeah.
You spent time in a kind of like a far removed cabin in
hovel, basically, yeah.
And where you adopted the In the Wilderness moniker. Right?
Yes.
How long was that process? Describe some of those things that happened making the record.
The record process was a year. I'd obviously kind of wound down Jack's Mannequin, I think a year, maybe even more before that, and decided just to take some time off. And then there was this. I did a little touring. I did some work for like a TV show, and then got to the moment where I was like, okay, it's time to like make a new record, and decided to sort of shut down operations on everything and just say like all I'm going to focus on is writing. And a part of that process was this few months I spent on and off in this cabin in Topanga Canyon, which is just outside of Los Angeles, which is amazing because there's this preserved sort of community in the mountains out there that has stayed pretty close to the same for 30, 40 years. And I rented this place called the Stone Cabin, which was literally a cabin made of stone and had a couple of lights in it and on a hot plate and a outhouse and sort of just set my piano up there and worked for on and off for a few months really. And it was magical, and I was able to sort of like get a theme and an idea and a feeling of what this thing was going to be, and then kind of walked my piano down the hill and said, okay, like let's get back into this civilization and make a record.
So instead of an axe, you had your piano over your shoulder, right?
Yeah, I'm not very good with an axe. So
Okay,
this is about what I have to my name. Yeah.
And a lumberjack beard? Did you grow one?
I believe, there was actually an insane beard.
You have to have one.
I had this moment before this tour started. I was like, I'm going beard again. I'm gonna go crazy because I saw a picture of me where it was like it was down to here right before Cecilia was born. I was like, I'm just going for it. And I remember the day she was born, I went into the room in the midwifery where she was born and shaved my beard off because like I don't want her to know me as this like I want her to actually recognize my face first,
Man
and then we'll start
mountains.
experimenting with facial hair. But yeah, it was massive. It was a big beard.
It was like sex.
It wasn't that big, but it was.
Yeah, that's kind of majestic. If you had that going, how dare you shave it?
Yeah. When Zach is, I've known Zach for a long time, and when I called Zach about joining the band, at first I just had known Zach, knew he was a great player, and so I called him, and then I sort of retroactively went back online and looked at a couple of videos of him in his band. And since I had seen him, like he didn't have a beard when I first met him, and I saw a picture of him with that accordion and that beard, and I was like, I called him, I go, hey, can we confirm that you're not going to shave that beard?
It really works with the wilderness thing.
He obliged, but yeah, good beard's a beautiful thing. There's no doubt about it. I blew mine. It's just horrible. It's gone now, yeah.
You're a great follow on Instagram, and as I was kind of stalking you, I came across one of your posts about learning the new songs off Zombies for the tour. How long does that take you to kind of learn how to take these out in front of people and get new songs, stuff that you've even written? It's not stuff that you're learning from someone else. Get them in front of people and on stage.
It takes a while. I mean, we did like a solid month of band practice before we even showed up to like production rehearsals for the tour, and even that we'd already learned a few before that. So yeah, I mean it was a while. I think just because there are so many electronic elements in the music itself, practice becomes like man versus machine. It's like figuring out how to take some of these programmed ideas and these things that were hatched, hatched in a studio and turning them into live music and not feeling chained to to too much track or anything like that. You would try and get everything so it's played, and it takes a lot of work, but it's fun. Yeah.
You get to explore the song all over again, I guess.
Totally. And you learn it, and when you get in a room, you realize sort of, I think live music and records they're meant to be different things, and certain things play well live that don't, certain things on a record aren't going to play well live, so figuring that out and then, learning, I think just what that expression is, when to jump away from the piano, when to kind of engage with an audience. And that's stuff we're learning. I mean, we're on show 8, I think, of the tour, and we're still learning. We're constantly tweaking the set list and trying to find that perfect sort of collection of tunes that gets the show, really happening and makes people, connect not just to the band, but to like this new music that we're trying to get in people's hands.
Yeah. One of the other interesting posts I saw you throw up there on Instagram was about the songs you were working on for someone else that actually made it on to Zombies.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate? How do you decide, well, like, okay, this one I'm definitely going to use for somebody else, or no, this one I like? Or do you even get to a moment when you're working on something for somebody else and it kind of hits you that, like, yeah, this should be mine. I need this song.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened a couple times this year. It happened with like that Lindsey Sterling song was originally written to be a feature for another artist, and I ended up singing on it. And then yeah, with Don't Speak for Me, True. It was written for another artist, and it was, interestingly enough, it was like really about his experiences. But it didn't get released, and it didn't come out. And there was this moment where it got sent to me by his manager, and they were like, "Well, we're thinking about throwing this demo up on SoundCloud because he hasn't put anything out in a while." And I was like, I listened to it for the first time in a year, and I was like, nope, I'm taking it.
Mine.
If the only option was if it was going to be SoundCloud or on a record, I was like, this song is just so good. And yeah, you have to sort of figure out, well, what was the thing in me that connected to that lyric that helped him write this song, And I think for me, I always have these things about my past. That's a song that's very much about sort of being haunted by people's perception of you versus who you think you really are. And so I was able to find a way in and make it believable. But yeah, it can be tricky.